for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I have some audio for you to listen to in just a little while. It's going to be of Jaren Jackson Jr. and the media availability you've had. Of course, it took a few days, but they're finally playing basketball here in the state of Utah. We're here at Delta Center tonight. It's going to be against the Sacramento Kings, who are in the lead for the worst team in the Western Conference, but maybe in the entire league.
They stink.
Yeah. Okay. And they're playing the Jazz tonight.
Like cabbage.
You're going to have the, cabbage has a stink to it, but it tastes good. I like cabbage.
We'll agree to disagree on that.
Okay. But I also have some other audio, and that is more complaining across the board. The Utah Jazz have been decided on by the national media for everyone to make an example of.
Specifically at ESPN. Right?
It's very weird.
Are you seeing anybody outside of ESPN really going all in on the Jazz? Why is it ESPN?
Yeah, we played this one with Bobby Marks yesterday, and it obviously got a lot of play, but this is what the one yesterday that kind of kicked off everything was from him.
I think what Utah is doing right now is messing around with the integrity of the NBA. The ability to sit players, starters, in the fourth quarter, to not call timeouts in the fourth quarter. Orlando won the game on Saturday because they basically rested players. And it backfired on them last night. So I think if you're the league, you're looking at it. All right, can we do some gimmicks? Can we alter protections and eliminate protections as far as picks? Or can we put the hammer down?
Yeah, put the hammer down. Oh, yeah.
Just
Bring
on one team,
down.
not the other 10 that are doing the same stuff?
Bring the hammer
Actually,
down.
worse, they're not even playing their guys?
I think Adam Silver hears that and kind of goes, oh, gosh. Like the league, by the way, the league does not think it's, like Adam Silver's not sitting there going, the integrity's been compromised by the league. They made the rules. They made the rules. And say what you will about how things went with the draft lottery last year. We watched that thing, and I don't care what you say about it and how weird the whole thing went down. It's a small jump into NBA, it's pub. You know what I mean? All of it is made for television, by the way. It's not like the draft lottery is not going to get a ton of ratings, but you know what it is? We watched the heck out of that thing when it was going on, and it was like watching one of your teams get beat in a massive upset, where you're like, jaw on the floor, cannot believe that just happened. And this is what the NBA has set up. I know that they don't love it. By the way, there are 32 teams in the league, and not all of them are going to be...
There's 30, but yeah.
Or 30 teams in the league. Not all of them are going to be competitive night to night, or week to week, or year to year. And it's unfortunate, but all 30 teams are not going to win this thing. In fact, you're going to get most of them at the very bottom who are going to say, how can we get better? And the NBA has made it clear. There are a handful of ways that you can get better. And the league overall, I think, does a really good job of making there different ways for you to be able to build a roster, to be able to make yourself. The league wants the Jazz to become competitive. And by the way, more than anybody, the Jazz want to make themselves competitive. Okay?
And they've paid their dues. They've had some really rough years.
Okay. Here's Windy, because, we wouldn't be, following the narrative here at the big ESPN without Windy getting involved and also throwing his disgust Utah's way.
It's not just Utah. Utah is being the most egregious of it, but there are multiple teams that are trading for players and immediately saying that they're injured and keeping them out for long periods of time. It's not just Utah using starters and then shutting them down. What Utah has done has been more egregious because they've had players who have been playing very well, and then they bench them for the fourth quarter. Their coach, as Bobby mentioned, Will Hardy, will sometimes literally just put his hands in his pockets and not call timeouts as the team gets steamrolled over. And that's where the transition has happened. Tanking historically has been done on the inactive list. The players in the games are always playing to win, and once a player is on the active list, you rarely see them, not go full out. What's happening here is that they're putting the reins on players who are active in games, and that's the next step. And something very interesting happened yesterday. It's an important game in the tanking standings. Tonight, Utah is playing Sacramento. These are two teams that are vying to get one of those top picks. And initially, when the Jazz put out their injury report yesterday, they listed Lauri Markkanen, who has barely been playing, out for rest. And then an hour or so later, they changed their injury report and said he's actually not going to rest, he's going to play. So what happened there? Did something happen behind the scenes? We'll see. Adam Silver will address the media, and I promise you will address these questions this week at All-Star Weekend. But I'm going to say, you can't put rules in that don't exist. And the Jazz are following the rules. They are activating healthy players and playing them, and they're just not playing them all out. So I don't think anything can be done in the next 10 minutes that's going to affect it. But something got the Jazz to make Lauri Markkanen active yesterday. I'm interested to find out more about that.
Oh, yeah. Ask the question. Adam Silver, what happened with Lauri Markkanen 7 days ago when he was inactive and listed as active again? What happened? Come on. Oh, yeah, they're going to ask him the tough questions. They're going to ask the commissioner the tough questions. When did taking start, JJ? Like, how long has it been going on?
For 40 years.
Okay.
So 1984. Really good draft class. Do you know who was in that 1984 draft class?
Jordan, Dominique.
You missed the number one pick.
Oh,
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
In 1984, nobody knew Michael Jordan was going to be Michael Jordan, but everybody wanted Hakeem Olajuwon, including the Houston Rockets. Where did Hakeem Olajuwon play his college basketball?
Yeah, down at
Houston.
Slamma-Jamma.
Houston did everything they could, and Houston was a good team in the 80s, remember? They were in the finals in 1980. I believe they got back to the finals in 86 after they paired Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon together.
Bad.
Remember the Twin Towers?
Not bad.
Houston tanked in 1983-84 season to get Hakeem Olajuwon, and they did it. They had the worst record, and they got it. The NBA is like, we got to stop this, so we're going to do this different. We're going to have a lottery. And then 1985, the lottery started. Right out of the gate, you ever heard of the frozen envelope with the New York Knicks? The Knicks getting Patrick Ewing, the marquee franchise in the biggest city in the country getting Patrick Ewing.
Georgetown's,
There has been conspiracy theories and problems tied to this process ever since then. Why? Because one player makes all the difference, and all 30 teams want that star guy. What did the Spurs do for both David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Victor Wembanyama? The Spurs, what did they do? They deliberately tanked in those seasons to get those players, and it worked out for them. And everyone else is watching what the Spurs did, and that's how we do it.
So why is he saying that it's so much more egregious with Utah doing it?
I have no idea. Here, do you want to talk about egregious? Here's egregious. The Washington Wizards go out and trade for Trae Young and Anthony Davis. Both are healthy enough to play. Have they played a minute for the Wizards yet? No. Why? Why have those two players, those two star players, not played? At least the Jazz are rolling out Jaren Jackson Jr. and Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George before he sprained his ankle for 3 quarters. At least the fans are getting 3 quarters of these great players. The Wizards aren't even rolling out their guys at all.
Yeah.
The Pacers just got Ivica Zubats at the trade deadline. A sneaky great move. For next year, do you think he's going to play this year? Absolutely not. They're trying to tank. Do you know who the Kings have on their roster? Domantas Sabonis. Who else is out tonight?
Is he active tonight?
Who else is out tonight? And how many of them really hurt?
Yeah,
okay.
on a 12-win team.
BS.
Yeah.
All right, and why are you picking on the Jazz? The Jazz are egregious?
He just kept saying the most.
The
but
Jazz
that's the most
are
egregious.
At least the Jazz are playing their guys. At least the people that go to watch and pay to watch these games are getting 3 quarters of the Jazz best lineup. The Jazz are tanking. Yes, absolutely. Does that suck? Absolutely. Are the Jazz doing anything wrong? No, because this is how the league has operated for 40 years. At no time has anybody who runs that league done anything to change it. Not one solution that's worked. In fact, it's been harder to tank lately because in the past, the Jazz would have had a 20% chance to win last year's lottery. They didn't have any more close to those odds, even though they had the worst record in the league. And they end up 5th. Even that's not enough to discourage these teams from tanking. Why? Because it's so important to at least have a chance to get the best player in a generational draft. And guess what we have in 2026? A generational draft. A.J. DeBonsa, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, and the list doesn't stop there. Caleb Wilson. the Wagler kid from Illinois, that Mikel Brown Jr. kid at Louisville went for 45 the other night.
Yep.
This draft is stacked. That's why there's 8 to 10 teams trying to tank, because they don't even care about getting the number 1 pick this year. Last year was all about number 1. It was all about flag. This year it's about 8 or 9 guys. And the Jazz have to keep that pick. They have to, because they don't want to lose it to the Thunder, because they want to be in the mix. Now it's top 8 protected, but even then they want to keep it, because that's how good this draft is.
Yep.
And the Jazz are doing what any smart team would. So stop picking on the Jazz. Everybody's doing it. Start picking on the Wizards, who have 2 All-Stars and they're not playing them a minute. That's egregious.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We have a top 10. It's Winter Olympics related. I'll say that. More to go around the corner. 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone.